The truth is out there. It's just not down here. Certainly not in Washington, D.C., but today is UFO Files release day. What do we get? Do we get anything? Nothing? Everything? The secret to folding bed sheets? I don't know. But we're going to ask the questions. What is going to be there? Now, some key players in this whole thing. This is the great news. The greatest news of all is that Representative Tim Burchett, you OGs that have been with me a while, you know, I've been singing this guy's praises from the rooftops. Tim Burchett, dadgummit, we're going to get the truth. He is one of the people, in fact, this is a long title, but Tim Burchett is on the House Oversight Think Tank Committee for Declassified Federal Secrets. That's a long title. What it means, the long and short of it is, he's a good guy to have in that position. But we'll all find out. First of all, thanks for finding the Wicked Radio live stream and replay, X, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. And, of course, in the audio podcast, wherever you like to get those, download, share, whatever, you can find me. Let's rewind for just a second here. And the president, that whether you like him or not, whether you voted for him or not, has been the most transparent in history, in my opinion. President Trump has said all along that whatever we have, if I have something, he says, if I have some files, you're going to know about it too. Well, he did. In fact, he said this just a couple of days ago that these files were coming out. Here's him in his own.
They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material. And we're going to be releasing a lot of things from that we have. And I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've interviewed people, my first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people. And they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe.
Now, we've all heard it, right? We've all heard it since we were, and I'm in my mid-50s now. We've heard this for our entire lives. Something's out there. Wouldn't it be kind of ridiculous to think that it's just us? I mean, come on. Let's be real about this. But here's the thing. We're dealing with a government. What in the world, what evidence would you possibly have to believe the federal government is going to tell you everything? Like one random Friday in May, they're going to release everything all at once. This is different. These are different times. But will we get everything? All right, here's the other key player in this, along with Tim Burchett, President Trump, everybody else on this panel, Representative Anna Paulina Luna. She, as you well know, has been talking about this for a long time. This is what she said almost, probably about a week and a half ago.
The interdimensional beings is what our witnesses will call these things. I have seen evidence in a skiff that leads me to believe there are things we cannot explain, and I have observed things that are of non-human origin and creation. That's my opinion. Again, but there has been a declassification order from the president, and you will see as soon as that stuff comes out.
Right. So do you think that the American public's going to be super surprised when this comes out, or is it going to be a bit of a nothing burger?
Well, I don't think it'll be a nothing burger. But, you know, we're not going to tell the American people what to make of it. But I think, you know, when, again, you saw my last hearing that I did with the task force where there was some footage that was entered into the archive, and it's pretty shocking for people. I don't know much tech that can deflect a Hellfire missile. I don't know about you. But
Okay, she has said this a long time. This is not somebody that is going to I don't think she's the kind of person that would be in on the scam to try to, deflect, evade, try to fool people or whatever. And in her opinion, as she said, clearly, what she's seen so far, what she's been given, and that's all she can go by, she says she can't explain it. Fine. Personal opinion, right? We'll get to dadgummit Tim Burchett in just a second, because I think he's the entire key player in this whole thing. Now, you can think whatever you want. We'll find out later on today. If you're watching or listening to this on a replay later on, maybe we know everything. Maybe everything has been revealed and everything, we have the truth. It's completely changed our perception of everything. We're going to look at each other and say, you know what? There's aliens out there. Let's have world peace. Maybe it's nothing. Who knows? There's just one factor that completely raised my radar in this entire thing, and it happened just last week. Who would be freaked out the most out of everybody if there was something in here to be revealed? Just think about it for a second. Who would be the most freaked out? The most who rely on their faith and everything they've been told? Evangelical preachers, correct? So why would it be that, according to some of them with very large followings, because I think a lot of them have YouTube shows now, and they live stream too, according to some of them, they have been briefed already on this stuff, and we'll get to exactly what they were told here in just a second. Now, one of these very influential preachers, who has a YouTube show, like everybody does, is Perry Stone. And we'll break this down into bits and pieces here in just a second. He detailed the conversation he had with some of the other preachers about this briefing. I think the main question we all have to ask ourselves is, why would the feds, before these files were released to the rest of the general public, why would they debrief with influential preachers first? I think because we don't want people freaking out. This is what Perry Stone said just a few days ago.
And I'm not going to go into great detail, but there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. And this particular man, and I'll not name him, and then we may end up doing some teachings with him or having an event at his church. He has a great church. But he said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors. You need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released.
Okay, now, that was the clip. That was the information, not just him, but the other preachers who apparently were involved in this meeting who were saying the exact same thing. And they're all, unless they're all in cahoots and all got together and decided, we're gonna say that we saw all this stuff. And unless they're all like conspiring to that, which I don't think actually happened. Probably something pretty revealing on this. Now, like you, I was leading into this going, okay, we're not going to get anything. This is ridiculous. It's another big cover-up. It's nothing. But this is the thing that changed my mind. Because why would you brief evangelical preachers and a group of them, the influential ones who would get the message out, to calm people down about what they're about to hear? The other things that came out were, apparently, from some of the other preachers that were there, reports out there, many debunked, of course, video evidence, non-human craft, potential shock to Christian beliefs, especially literal interpretations of Genesis and creation. That would explain the evangelical part. Urging pastors to prepare, as you heard Perry Stone say there, congregations to avoid panic. Do you ever stop and think why, really, truly, we haven't gotten this information in the past before? Like, why not? I've always gone to this. Sure, absolutely, we don't want our adversaries. We don't want China or Russia to know what we know, right? Of course. But isn't it mainly because you don't want people to freak out, right? I saw Contact, a movie with Jodie Foster, right? When they made contact with alien beings, it was madness down here. People were fighting in the streets. It was insane. You had the guy that tried to blow up the ship. There's a lot of lunatics out there that would use this as an excuse to do really bad things. So I actually understand and appreciate the effort, if it's true, to calm people's fears and to allay their fears. So, let's see. Oh, and there was a message from the aliens, too. It was to pass the Save America Act. No, just kidding. That didn't happen. But there are other priorities. Now let me get to the guy who I'm very grateful for, and I think we all should be. I don't know whether you're from Tennessee. I don't know whether you voted for him. I don't know if you're aware of him, but you should be. It's very important, in my humble opinion, that Representative Tim Burchett, dadgummit Tim Burchett, is the common sense dude that is on this panel, that is on this subcommittee, to get the truth to this, if there's any truth to be had. And matter of fact, he was just talking to Joe Rogan. This was the clip he was talking about what do you think's coming out? When did they tell him that something's coming out, and what do you think about it? This is what he said just the other day.
I got a call that tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'm going to be briefed over the phone by, I think one of Hedseth's top dogs is going to go over some stuff with me that they've got, and I have no earthly idea. I don't want everybody to get their hopes up. I don't have a lot of faith in our government. President Trump's always been great to me. He's never lied to me, but I don't know that he knows the right questions to ask and the right people to talk to, because, I mean, this thing's been covered up at least since 1947, and I just don't think they don't give up that easy. The war pimps at the Pentagon and everybody else, they just don't give up that easy.
Why do I think it's important that that guy is one of those that's supposedly briefed on this today? Because he has, I think, a healthy level of distrust of the government. You got to have that a little bit, right? Your working assumption should always be, it's like, I'll trust you when you give me a reason to trust you, right? Because there has been the one thing no matter what you think of the entire UAP, UFO, alien issue, there's something that they're not telling us, right? There's something anyway. And they haven't been telling us since, at least, as Tim Burchett said there, 1947. So a healthy distrust of the federal government in this is completely justified. In fact, he goes on to say here, you know what, honestly, it's great that there's some sort of disclosure here. It's fantastic. Let's work towards that again. Don't get your hopes up on this. We're dealing with the government here. He said this to us today.
Around our world.
And so...
And he didn't have any other, and then I was on talking about it, and somebody said, Tim Burchett says that they're underwater bases, and then, and they had, Gates was on the other day, and he was briefed. I just told what I was briefed on, and he was briefed by a guy that said, it was in uniform, that said that they were breeding, they were capturing people and breeding them with these aliens. And, he just talked.
What?
So, yeah, he was on, you can pull it up. I mean, Matt Gaetz, he talked about it. He didn't say he believed it, but, we get briefed on, that's what I'm talking about, the PSYOP. Here's part of the problem, too. They bring you information, and you go forward with this, and this is the truth, these underwater bases, whatever. And then they prove it doesn't exist, and then they just discredit you, and they discredit the whole movement. So that's why I'm very cautious.
See, that's why he's skeptical of this thing, and that's why he's a really important guy who's getting this on. I honestly, there's not a lot of people that personally, in my opinion, I trust in Washington, D.C. and the swamp, the deep state swamp that it is. But I do trust that guy because he seems like he has a whole lot of common sense. But what he said there was really important, and keep an eye out for this. Just be aware of it. Disclosure or not, UFO files or not, 3 p.m., what happens? We're all going to tune it. What they've always done now, and we've got decades of evidence with this, is to give a little bit of truth, like a quarter of the truth, and then 3/4 absolute, complete, total BS, which may be the case here. We don't know. We'll see. But got a little theory on this. I hope now. Personally, I believe it. I think it would be insane to think we're just completely alone. That's just my opinion. I mean, how can you think of the massive size of the universe? And if you think that it's just us, first of all, how ego-driven is that, right? And yes, there have been some very prominent people, even Tim Burchett, he said, they've shown me some stuff I can't explain, too. Anna Paulina Luna said it. Scientists have said that. You've got retired generals that have said they couldn't talk about this. Family personal history. We have a very close family friend who is his dad was a colonel in the Air Force. He's told me story after he retired, stories about things about, yes, I'm going to go there, about Area 51. I couldn't believe. Not the kind of guy that would be making up a tall tale, like straight as an possible you could be as an arrow. But wouldn't it surprise you at all? Would it surprise you at all to find out that there's nothing in there? This is also another possibility you have to consider. What if there actually is nothing, and the PSYOP is actually, let's let our adversaries, let's let China and Russia believe that we have all of this stuff, alien technology, alien weaponry, and let's keep the secret and the PSYOP going so that they're kept scared and in the dark about this thing. I'm just throwing it out there. This is a day when we throw out all possibilities. It could be anything. By 3:10 p.m. today, Eastern Time, in real time, you could have the answers to life itself. You could have the evangelicals, carrying signs and saying it's the end days up and down the street. Who knows? Or there could be absolutely nothing. My whole point is just be like Tim Burchett. I think he's a perfect guy to be briefed on this stuff today and have a healthy dose of skepticism. A little bit of truth and a whole lot of BS. What am I basing that on? That's what they've done now for close to 7 decades on this stuff. So who knows? It would be amazing, though. It would be amazing to find out something. But let's take this for the good news. Like, what's the great part of this? Is that we're even getting to this point and talking about it. You got to understand that too. I mean, this is an amazing accomplishment if there's even a little sliver of truth or information or something out there, which leads me to believe this is why they talk to those pastors, to get the word out there and to calm people down. I don't think they do that unless there's something in here that may be a little bit eye-opening. Maybe. But we don't know. But there's also going to be a lot of crap. Basing that on the history of what the federal government has done for us. Healthy skepticism. That's all I'm saying. So we'll see. It's exciting, though. It's cool. It's cool to talk about. All right. With all that said, thank you so much. A lot more of you joining today. I appreciate it so much. A lot of you found the audio podcast, which is mainly what this is. This is an audio podcast, basically, that I happen to do live because I'm better live. We might as well throw it on a camera. So thanks for joining me on the live stream. Enjoy the UFO Files release today. Replay on this, and if you're watching this after 3 p.m. Eastern Time Friday, maybe you already have the answers. But anyway, X, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. And on the audio podcast, wherever you like to get them, just look for Wicked Radio with Bill Adams. Likes, downloads, shares, subscribes, all that good stuff. Appreciate you as always, wherever you like to get it. Look, here's the bottom line and the big takeaway. No matter what we find out today, no matter what it is, the truth is within you. Live your own destiny, not what the government's going to tell you, whatever. And healthy skepticism is the way to go on this whole thing. I think. By 3 p.m. today, it may be totally different. It's Friday. Make it a wicked awesome weekend. Enjoy, be safe, and hopefully we get something cool today, and we'll be talking about it on Monday, and I'll talk to you then.